What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 6 of Trigun Stampede, and we're going to go full spoilers ahead from here on out, so you've been warned. Okay, so real quick recap. This episode's pretty straightforward. Vash and Wolfwood are hopping on a ship that drives across the sand ocean, while Meryl and Roberto are staying behind because Roberto says they got to go back to headquarters and type up the story. Meryl has an issue with that because she wants to keep pursuing and following Vash for the story. So this is obviously a point of contention for both of them, but they do end up leaving. And yeah, so Vash and Wolfwood are having issues because of in the prior episode, Vash was trying to help somebody they had a past with, and Wolfwood, protecting Vash, had to put that guy down. And that is obviously still a problem with both of them as they start to try and talk it out. We have a new character revealed who is obviously, as you see them showing up, some kind of assassin. What was their name? Vilio?
It's either Vilio or Vivio or something.
Vivio? Something like that? I was going to say Vivio, but Vimeo. Anyway, this guy shows up, and instantly Wolfwood notices him, knows exactly what's going on, tells Vash to run. This guy has 2 machine guns, opens fire on them. He is after Vash, like everybody is, trying to kill him, and there's some hesitation with Wolfwood just telling Vash to run. And then we are privy to a backstory. I'm not going to go into every little segment individually. Basically, we get the backstory of Wolfwood as a child at an orphanage and how he knows Vivio, or what the fuck his name is. I can't remember it. He met him there. They became friends. He's like an older brother to him, unless they are related. It seemed like they weren't related. Okay. And so as a kid, Wolfwood is essentially graduates to being a chosen kid who gets to go have experiments done on him by Knives' group. I forgot the guy's name, Priest something. We got the name to the scientist, but I don't remember it, so I'll take another couple episodes. But anyway, they essentially do a bunch of experiments on him because he has the right type of body, S+, to interact with these this medication that allows him to regenerate no matter what. So we see during the experimentation, he's laying on a bed that's holding him down, but there's like blood everywhere, so you can tell that they were doing a lot of different things to test this out. At one point, he tries to escape to go back to the orphanage, and kind of shows off that he is able to regenerate because they shoot him while he's running, and he took a bunch of the vials with him. He takes one, it heals him. He tries to jump for the window and ends up getting grabbed in the air by some kind of like telekinesis ability and broken in like every spot of his body, which is pretty gnarly to see. We find out later this is some other guy, I forgot his name, guy with blue hair, who is also part of this group and seems not to like Wolfwood too much, but doesn't hurt him too bad later just because this scientist guy, that's his experiment. He doesn't want him fucking with it. So that's the only thing that's keeping him safe, really. And then Wolfwood doesn't want to help with what they want him to do, so they essentially bring in Vivio, or whatever the hell his name is, saying that if he won't do it, he'll do it for him. Go back to what's actually happening with Vash and them. He's still pursuing him. There's all these soldiers all over the ship trying to stop them. The guy's mowing them down. We see at one point he gets shot up as well, but he's able to regenerate without the medication that Wolfwood has. And as he's doing this, Vash kind of realizes that he knows him, and he's really quick to go, well, we got to save him. We got to help him, because that's what Vash does in these situations. And Vash essentially tackles this guy, pistol whipping him and trying to hold him down while more soldiers show up. Things get exacerbated. Wolfwood is shooting at them to chase them off. And then we see they're being spied on by Nai's group, who are on their way there, kind of driving on the outside of the ship, and they end up sabotaging the ship's trajectory with this dude's telekinesis abilities. He's able to break something in the engine, and the ship is veering off course. It looked like towards the orphanage, which was very interesting. And then all this shit's happening. Things are going crazy, getting really dramatic. And then this group of people, I think it was like the Bad Lads. Their name, what? Bad Lads
like some
gang?
sand pirates or
Yeah.
some shit.
And earlier in the episode, they had showed up around Roberto and Meryl as well, but we didn't get to see the continuation of what happened there. I assume they'll probably be with these guys because they probably grabbed them, and it will give them a good reason to come back. But yeah, we're left off at that point where we got the whole situation that's already been unfolding, met with a random group of desert gangsters showing up, who are very flashy, wearing a bunch of lights and stuff. And it's a cliffhanger episode. Just ends right there. So, what do we think?
I actually quite liked this episode. It had really good pacing. I had a good amount of action, good amount of storytelling, had multiple different like animation styles, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, the flashbacks had a distinct look to them.
They were traditional animation, yeah, with some neat art style choices.
Yeah, everything just had kind of like a scratchy texture to it. It's interesting looking.
Yeah, and then when he was being drugged, it had like this trippy, like psychedelic color scheme going. And I really enjoyed it. It also made it really easy for them to like just show a flashback, and you just instantly knew they were in flashback territory because the art, went from 2D or 3D to 2D. The CQC gunfights were dope.
Yeah,
I loved watching that. Especially because there's occasionally like moments where like, oh, I can get a shot in, and like near misses and stuff like that up close. And whoever was doing the choreography for that did a really good job. It was a lot of fun to watch. There was a lot of also just like world stuff we got to see, like the giant, sand ship essentially.
Yeah, this episode felt a little more world building than the episodes prior. Like the last time I felt like we got an established idea of how this world is was when we first went to the first town. It's like, oh, there's like these Western style towns going on. And then after that, it's just like, we are building story and having these events happening. But then, yeah, once they go to the ship and you see all these people, it's like, oh, this is like a thing that happens in this world too. Interesting. Like they treat this part of the desert as if it's an ocean, and they're on this giant like Jawa vehicle, just cruising around like it's a ship.
Well, I also like too because the flashbacks weren't just a vessel. Excuse me, for Wolfwood or the little brother character or your one specific thing. It covered a lot of stuff, even in just like a series of small events. And we got a lot of Wolfwood's past, which was nice. His connection to this character, but also more importantly, more about what the scientist guy is doing to all these like test subjects and the types of people that are basically successes in that regard, like the blue-haired guy. We've seen the bug person in the past as well.
In the last episode, the kid that they changed into that monster. With that context, and we seeing how that innocent kid turned into this thing that had to be shot and killed. We have the exact same scenario with Wolfwood when he was a kid.
Well, and the fact that he went from kid to physically an adult because of the drug treatment, like in the course of like days, I think is what they said, which is wild. Yeah, I don't know. There was just a lot in this episode. I really liked it. Plus, I liked that Wolfwood is being more than just like the like stoic like badass character. He actually had like emotion and stuff this episode, which was cool to see. So yeah, I mean, I liked it a lot. If the rest of the show is like this, awesome.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite episodes we've watched so far, which is nice because the last two episodes have kind of felt like okay. I feel like we've been kind of coasting for a little bit with the last couple episodes, and they've been entertaining and good, and we've talked about the animation every single one. It's always nice to look at, but the story has gotten to a point where I'm like, okay, so where are we going? This episode feels like we're getting somewhere. We get some backstory to Wolfwood. We get the connection revealed on how he is connected to these people, but it's in a reluctant way because he was forced into this. So you can tell his ambitions are not for that team. It's just he's part of that team. So it gives us an idea of, why he's not probably going to comply with what they want. So that's interesting. Also add some humanity to his character, because before that, he's not talking about his past a whole lot. He's not saying a whole lot, but we get that window. We get that view of what happened to him, and it kind of makes sense on, why he is the way he is, but also adds that layer of like actually caring about something. So that was definitely good. I like you said, I like the world building. I thought them going on the ship was really interesting. Wasn't something I was expecting. I figured they'd be walking or driving across the desert for the rest of this show, and so that was pretty cool. It was also nice to see other people exist in the world that aren't just like savages and fucking mercenaries and gangs and shit.
People.
Yeah, it's nice to know that's a thing. Even though I don't know how the hell they're existing in this world, because it's a rough one. And the imagination is really cool. I liked seeing the whole setup and how they're talking about how this is a really safe ship, and they're going to take them to July or whatever. And we even got a view of the map, which I thought was kind of cool, showing the course and how much distance they got to cover. Also, that was interesting. They were going to split up the group, although I was skeptical of that, because I feel like Roberto and Meryl are pretty tied into everything. I think it'd be weird if they disappeared this far into the show. So I do expect them to be back for sure. And then the Vivio guy is interesting. How he's almost like a cyborg. He's like, there's no humanity to him. The weapons are really cool that he has. They're essentially machine guns, and he swaps them over, and there's like another barrel that he starts shooting from. So it allows him to just keep shooting. And yeah, the animation again was great. The action sequence, there wasn't like a whole lot of like shooting at each other, but like there was a lot of Vash doing his thing where he's running and dodging and blocking with his metal arm. The CQC sequences are really cool. It makes me think how dangerous Vash would be if he actually shot people, because you can't hit him with bullets. So yeah. And then seeing Wolfwood kind of struggle with the situation was interesting, because like in another situation he might just shoot somebody. So he even shot at the soldiers but didn't shoot them directly, which I thought was very interesting. I am curious to see what happens with the Bad Lads gang capturing probably Roberto and Meryl, because there's just so many of them. Like, how are they going to get out of this? These guys aren't proficient in combat, and Roberto's gun is just like a little fucking derringer. Like, he ain't got shit. So yeah, I'm sure we'll see them again. And then, the backstory was interesting. It's cool. I liked that the animation was different. I liked the setup of it. I liked the visual style, especially like you said, when they were doing experiments on him. It got kind of trippy looking. It was really interesting looking. The music, I'm already kind of tired, but it was kind of like putting me to sleep, because it was really relaxing during those background or those backstory sequences, because there wasn't a whole lot of dialogue, just music playing and a bunch of cool effects. So I was sitting there going like, okay, this is neat, but this is not helping me in my current state. And yeah, overall, really good episode. Like I said, I think this is one of my favorite episodes I've seen so far. Outside of the one where Knives first showed up and destroyed the town.
Wild,
that was a big event too. Something I was looking or hoping for in terms of like story building, and this feels like that as well. I'll be really curious to see what happens in the next episode, because they got to get out of this. But there's a lot stacked up against them. They got the gang showing up. They got the soldiers. They got Vivio waking up. They got the telekinesis guy and the bug chick showing up right outside. Like, there's a lot going on here. So hopefully Wolfwood is ready to use his big laser and cut everything in half. And Vash will be ready to do some cartwheels and fucking duck under bullets and hit him out of the air and shit. So, but I feel like it's going to be a good episode as well, because this one had a really good pacing, a really good building up. I really felt towards the end the tension. The music was good. It felt more cinematic than normal.
Same in the beginning of the episode when they were like taking off or whatever. That whatever the song that was crazy. So
Yeah. I didn't mention it in my recap either because it's not really a big part of the story, but in the intro we see one of the instances where Wolfwood is like hunting someone down, which was an interesting thing. Kind of gave us a little more insight as to what I was speculating on the last episode, where he took that stuff. I assume it was healing him because he was all fucked up then, and that guy shoots him up, takes the stuff, and then he ends up taking the dude out. I thought it was a cool intro sequence, kind of giving us that information of like, oh, this guy was like this dude who went around and just hunted people down and is able to regenerate. So it makes him, extra dangerous in the sense that you're not gonna be able to kill him.
Right.
So I thought that was a cool intro sequence. Yeah, like the episode, one of the best ones. And definitely has me excited for the next episode. Anything else you want to say on this?
I mean, I'm just glad it was as good of an episode as it was, because and I would be finishing the season at this point anyways.
Yeah, I'm not gonna not finish at this point.
But the last couple episodes, like you said, they were okay.
Yeah, they're fine.
I mean, I enjoyed them, but it would have been a kind of like, it was an okay show, if it would have kept going that way. So having these moments like this happen from time to time is good. I also think it's a good thing that they're not happening constantly, because that would also kind of get old. So
Sure.
So far, pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Well, let us know in the comments. What did you think of episode 6 of Trigun Stampede? Do you like where it's going? Do you not like where it's going? What did you think of this episode specifically? What do you think about what's happening? What do you think about the characters they're introducing? What do you think about Wolfwood's background? What do you think is going to happen in the next episode? And what do you think about how the bad lads? What do you think of their outfits? They're really ridiculous looking. They look like fucking Christmas tree to me.
They're ready to go to rave.
Yeah, they're ready to go. So let me know what you think about in the comments below. But I've been Seth. This has been Chevy. Stay tuned. We'll have more episodes soon. But until then, we'll talk to you guys later.